Hiya! And welcome back to Far Beyond the World. The game that teaches us that all good things come in time. Here we go. I saw your one comment, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited. It's going to be like soon or not, but I don't know. I'm going to pull up the sensor bar real quick because yeah, shit, wrong one. Right here. And we're gonna hop right in. Once we step out onto the vibrant street, I sigh and relax. Simply oh shit! What about that? Gotta have that. We gotta have something there. Once we step out onto the vibrant street, I sigh and relax, simply relishing the afternoon stroll. Although I do like Turnin, being in a lively place such as this tugs at some long-lost memories. It feels right to be here, regardless how badly Rannoch might not enjoy it. Seeing that the wolf continues to sulk, I look to him with an apologetic smile. Look, I'm sorry if you're not happy about the way this went down, but diplomacy requires tact, something your people clearly lack, if what the magistrate said is true. Exactly. You'll trust a word of a tiger over my own? Your word is neither here nor there, as you didn't witness what happened. From what the magistrate says, Vither's stay in Strandbard wasn't as successful as we were led to believe. Vither is my father's advisor for a reason. Vither is also probably fucking your father, so yeah. He mutters defensively, and I nod. Yes, and that begins to rub me the wrong way. He's a trusted friend. He's almost like a second father to me. Oh my god, he's just so well. Rannoch continues, slight offense lining his tone. Look, I'm not trying to imply anything. All I'm saying is that there are two sides to the story. I know you dislike the tigers and distrust anything they say, but consider this. Vither was here for several years. Why? What did he actually achieve? I don't know. Again, he grumbles in that now recognizable moody fashion whenever he doesn't like the turn our conversation takes. Exactly. Neither did the magistrate. I have a theory. As he said, the trade embargo was in place for 2 decades, and the relations didn't improve at all either. In fact, he seemed to have much fonder memories of your father than he does his envoy. The wolf ponders, and I regain my hope I might be getting through to him. I rest my hand on his shoulder, tugging at it to add weight to my words. You're going to be a chief one day. You need to be able to look at things from a wider perspective. I'm not saying Vither is a bad person, but I don't think he's a good advisor either. And what are you basing this on? His diplomacy, for one. Hiya! I shrug. It was a farce, and the tribe hasn't changed one bit either. I'm not talking about laws and customs, but look around you! He spent several years here, and he didn't bring any of this back to Turnin? I spread my hands in partial jest, pointing to the bustling town all around us. What? Pretty houses and cobbled streets? Scoff all you like, but yes, the quality of life is immensely different. Your people are being left further and further behind. You said you wanted to travel the world to see what it has to offer, so that you could become a better chief. Well, he has traveled. Rannoch looks at me now more intently, listening carefully to what I say. He saw what the world had to offer, and yet he didn't help your father be better. In fact, the only thing that got better is his purse, while he and the chief drink and smoke their lives away. When you were gone, I had a chance to get out and about. The wolves talk about him almost as if he owned the tribe. He is quite rich. Finally, the wolf's voice betrays a hint of concern. Well, I don't think that was always the case. Something tells me he got his fortune during the tenure as your father's advisor. You know what? I'll trust your instinct, even if I don't agree with it. He looks to me with a wavering smile. When we get back, I'll look into this, I promise. But subtly, I tease and Rannoch rolls his eyes. Of course, subtly. I'm not about to poke at a hornet's nest. No wolf likes when others sniff around their business. No more so than Vither. But enough of that. Now I'd like us to unwind before what comes next. He waves his paw and I laugh in amusement. In agreement. To like hide the thing, actually I had an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take image 7 and just... I should have thought of this earlier. That way it covers it up. I should have thought of that earlier. Well, this was a day and a half. I yawn, stretching myself idly as we stroll down one of the streets leading away from the town hall. Indeed. The wolf nods, looking at me with growing humor. You've earned another treat. And an apology. I scoffed teasingly, bumping into his shoulder. Told you I would come in hand. That you did. Okay. The wolf laughs and I can't help but puff my cheeks in feigned ignorance. Your tigery's awful, I hope you know that. My apologies then, my lord, for being born in the sticks. He takes a deep, exaggerated bow and I nudge him in his rump, causing the wolf to run a few paces forward to avoid falling flat on his muzzle. Dickhead. I call out as we both chuckle in amusement. So, where are we headed? To the Stranded Bard Inn. Really? I nearly gasp out in excitement. And they'll let us in? I thought you said this was like a pilgrimage site for bards. Very hard to get into. It is, but it's also an inn. He shrugs coyly and I feel slightly suspicious, but for now, I won't read too much into it. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to hear someone sing. Yeah, you think you would until you do. Then you do anything for them to shut up. The wolf snickers and I shake my head. Be nice. Don't ruin this for me. Right this way. He waves his paw, making me follow him into one of the side paths leading away from the main road. Oh my god. At first I'm confused, but I brush it off to Rannoch finding some sort of a shortcut from the main square leading through several blocks of townhouses. I enjoy this little detour as we're both out of the sun in the pleasantly cool shade, but also I get to admire the backyards of those amazingly old-timey buildings. They're tall, 3 and even 4 stories high, with their wooden frames climbing high like giant ladders. It's also fantastical, almost as if from a fairy tale. Okay, on the screen, I censored this in the VODs that I uploaded to YouTube. There were, like, not safe for work drawings on there. And I do my best to censor stuff here. Then again, everything so far seems like a damn fairy tale. In one of the courtyards, we pass a group of tiny tiger cubs playing around in an open well. They collect small pebbles and drop them down, listening on to hear the plume of the water once the stone hits the surface, each time jumping up and down with cheer. I chuckle at this innocent sight, and that's what draws their attention. At first, they seem weary seeing Rannoch, most likely scared of both his size and his massive sword, but once they see me, their expression changed to that of awe and curiosity. It's a human! A human? What's that? Their little murmurs echo against the towering walls of the townhouses, and I shake my head in amusement. We come to a stop when a little tiger girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old, approaches a few steps and fidgets on her cute little paws. Oh my god! My heart's melting right now. Oh my god. Hey mister, my friend says you're a human. Is that true? I smile at her kindly, looking back to Rannoch's confused muzzle and then back to her inquisitive eyes. Why, yes I am. Why do you ask? Because humans are magic. Like the elfkin. Elfkin? I chuckle, taking a step in her direction when one of the larger boys walks up to her and pushes her back in a protective manner. They're not magic, they're just rare, and we shouldn't talk to strangers. I nod in agreement. He's right, on both matters. Come to think of it, you shouldn't be playing around an open well either. We're not jumping into it. The brave little tiger puffs up his chest in annoyance, and I cannot help but melt at how cute his little belligerent muzzle. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, I have to. So sad, but I gotta get rid of the Doge meme. I gotta get rid of it because I'm going to replace it. Oh my god! Oh my god, my heart. This is so fucking adorable. It hurts my heart. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Just... If this doesn't melt your all's hearts, then nothing will. Oh my god, why isn't it loading? I'm just like... I should be able to just drop it in, and yet it's like... Not doing that. It's not doing that. I get to add these things manually. Yay. Ugh. Not scripts, sprites. There we go. And now the second part. Oh my god, it's Baby Ty. And it also works because he's a tiger. Can I, like, group them together? Is it, like, going to shit itself? It is. So I'm not going to group them together, but oh my god. Baby Ty. Baby Ty is built different. He doesn't have a marshmallow head. He's got a baby face, because he's a baby. The brave little tiger puffs up his chest in annoyance, and I cannot help but melt at how cute his little belligerent muzzle looks. We're just throwing stones in! To hear the water slosh. I take a guess, but the entire group laughs at me as if I said the darndest of things. No, silly! To make a wish! Oh my god. My heart. My heart. You must have a lot of wishes then. I mused teasingly, to which the girl only shrugs. What do you wish for? We can't tell. Otherwise it won't come true. Fair enough. Mind if I make a wish then? I ask, causing the kids to exchange worried gazes. At first they appear reluctant, but eventually one of the cubs in the back speaks up. I think it would help to have a magical human's wishing stone in there. Oh my god. So precious. So fucking precious. He's not magic. The largest of the kids protests, but the girl next to him marches up to me and takes hold of my hand to everyone's surprise. Magic or not, you said they're rare. He must be lonely, so he needs all the wishes he can get. Her bluntness causes me to choke in amusement, but I'm also incredibly touched. She marches up to the well and then points at the gravel around it. You must find a wishing stone, then think the wish really, really hard before you drop it in. And which one is the wishing stone? I ask, looking at the various pebbles littering the ground. You will know. She shrugs and I smile, beginning my quest for a wish. I might be diligent to humor the child, but at the same time I also want to find a pretty stone for my own sentiment. Eventually I spot a nice round pebble. That's a good one! The little girl nods approvingly. How do you know? I just do. God. Again, she shrugs. I must admit, I love her moxie. I straighten up and squeeze the stone in the palm of my hand, taking a deep breath. I do so theatrically, as I know all the cubs are watching, but at the same time, what if? I wish that Rannoch stopped hiding things from me. I wish that he finally start to see me as an asset, not a liability. And off the stone goes, as everyone holds their breath. A few seconds later, a soft plume draws the previous cheers from the kids, and they all dance around. Kalen. Rannoch softly calls out my pup name, and the cubs fall silent, looking to him with worry. It's quite alright, he's a good wolf, but I do have to go. I ruffle the little girl's hair and proceed to walk away. Thank you for the wish. Bye! Having a human wish is almost like having an elf wish. Now the well is bound to work. Shut up, you idiot. They continue their previous games and I laugh, following Rannoch out of the maze of backyards. He seems quite taken by the ease with which I interact with strangers, and his gentle smile and subtle tail wags are a reward in and of themselves. Eventually we stop out of the shadowy alleyways into a decoratively cobbled opening. The small square surrounding the eponymous inn is quite cozy, with the richly adorned townstones almost hugging the sprawling structure. The inn is big, much bigger than I expected, with various additions stacking up onto it like a layered cake. Damn, this place is huge! That's what happens when a building is famous for nearly 1,000 years. Rannoch muses with satisfaction, taking in my glee and amazement. Is it really that old? Well, the establishment, at least, not the building itself. The wolf shrugs. If I remember correctly, Vither said it was rebuilt several times and expanded. For sure. I nod, noticing different parts that show a distinct shift of styles and brickwork over the ages. But wow, I just love it! I jump up with joy and we walk up towards the main entry. A massive sign, The Stranded Bard, hangs up above, while the portico bears an inscription, Come ye weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest. It almost feels like a sanctuary of sorts. The place is so crowded that the patrons spill out onto the surrounding square, drinking at the outside tables. The weather is nice enough to allow it, and it doesn't seem as bad an alternative, but Rannoch is bent on getting inside. That's when we're met with a large tigress, with a bosom for days, barring the entry. We want in. The wolf states coldly, but she just shakes her head. I'm sorry, good sirs, we're at capacity. We have 2 traveling minstrels with us, and the guests have been crowding in since last week. It's good, we sit. Rannoch mutters to her utter frustration. No, sir, the point is, there is nowhere for you to sit. You can take a spot on one of the outside benches when and if it frees up. She points to the outdoor space, and I'm almost inclined to agree. It is a nice day. But Rannoch persists. Out no good. We sit in. The female simply rolls her eyes and sighs heavily, and I place a hand on the wolf's shoulders, but he brushes it off gently. Barkeep. Sir, I've told you, there is no room. Barkeep. He insists, forcing the tigress to look to me in annoyance. Could you please explain to your master? He's not my master. I'm really tired of this slave bullshit. Ugh, companion, then. That we don't have any room left? I nod and turn to face the wolf. She said, I know what she said. Tell her to get the barkeep. Oh my god, he is. Oh my god, he is. Is he gonna get to pull this out now? I know she said, tell her to get the barkeep. Oh my god. It fits way too much. I look to him in slight discomfort. Are we really going to pull the most classical Karen move? Oh my god. Are we really going to pull the most classical Karen move? He said it. We are, aren't we? I sign defeat and do as asked. Ma'am, could we please speak to the owner? I roll my eyes internally and... and give me the number for corporate while you're at it. Unsurprisingly, the female doesn't budge. I'm sorry, sir, but we're full up, truly. The tigress continues in a growingly desperate tone, until she's finally shooed away from the doorway by a rather short, round male. Walk away, you dumb girl. Can't you see this is no ordinary guest? He calls out in an angered voice to the female's utter confusion. But... forgive us, Lord Rannoch. All this girl is good for is having her enormous udders milked like the daft cow she is. The male bows deeply, inviting us in. This way, come. He insists merrily and struts down the main hall. I look to Rannoch in confusion as he gives a satisfied, smug smile towards the puzzled waitress, and we proceed. And oh my god, he's even doing the face. That was interesting. When you visit with the magistrate, especially unannounced with a chest full of gold, the word spreads. Maybe. His cheeky grin does not dissipate when I finally take a glance across the inn proper. It's an enormous structure composed of various nooks and annexes surrounding the central temple dedicated to cheer. A massive hall enclosed by two-story colonnades supporting the upper gallery and ending at an open stage. The place is packed to the brim, with every table occupied by creatures of various origins. If the city seemed diverse, the stranded bard is a cosmopolitan world in its own right, perhaps even the city's beating heart. There's huskies, which I only distinguish from the wolves by their curled-up tails. There's also lynxes and lions, and at least a few leopards, all drinking and making merry together like one big family. This place is something else entirely. It doesn't look like they need our business, and we're not going to be returning customers, not anytime soon at least. I mutter as we make our way to the back of the hall. Why make an exception? They might not need our coin, but they need prestige. Having nobles and dignitaries stay here makes this place stand out above all others. Rannoch winks and I look to him with a smile. He's full of surprises. He might act brash at times, but all in all, he's not a dummy. Here we are. The barkeep bows gracefully while unfurling a long napkin from behind his apron. He uses it to brush the table in a small alcove while pulling away curtains which concealed it from the rest of the building. I've prepared a spot, just like you requested. Intimate, yet still part of the main hall. Perfect. Much thank. It's hard not to smile at his tigery, but seeing how it does not faze the barkeep, I decide to act like a grown-up, and I ignore it as well. No, my lord, it is I who thank you. Our host takes another deep bow and rushes off. Rannoch sees himself immediately, while I'm starting to suspect that this wasn't really a gamble on his part. You've planned this ahead, didn't you? Much thank. You really think I would have left our visit at the famous inn to chance? I suppose not. I may have bribed the barkeep last night to reserve us a spot. I was right then. Cheeky. As I'm about to continue, another waitress approaches us, but her expression shows she's not too pleased. But what do you want? She throws in politely at Rannoch, and I can see his ears fold in slight annoyance. Meal and wine. Ale is most you can afford. The female exhales dismissively, shifting her weight to one leg and giving me a rather disgusted look. Do you even speak? Better than you. I scoff, quite surprised by your off-putting attitude. Oh my god, it's whenever he went out all emo. It's whenever he went out emo a couple streams ago. You know, whenever he was like, oh my god, why are you being such a bitch? And then like just dipped out and left. I think he went here and did a reservation with his broken tigery language. I scoff, quite surprised by her off-putting attitude. What are you doing? Sorry, what are you doing? The barkeep returns, aghast that she's talking with us. He's holding in his paws a large, fully lit candelabra and plops it in the center of our table. It's just a wolf with a slave. She brushes her paw in our direction, and the male squares off with her. Be silent, woman, or you'll find yourself without a job. Didn't you see I've ushered them in personally? Go away and find yourself some pots to scrub. He commands, and the female walks off with the same sassy attitude she came towards us. I don't expect she'll be working here long. The barkeep folds his hands together apologetically and bows as deeply as his back will allow him. Please forgive me, she's new. It's been quite a rush these past few weeks, and I simply had to take on more staff. Some might not be cut out to work here, though. She's by no means what Stranded Bard stands for. We're open to every weary traveler, no matter the species or the depth of their pocket. It's very reassuring to hear you say that. I smiled, looking back to Rannoch, who doesn't seem much bothered by the incident. We want meal, and wine if can. Excellent. The barkeep claps his paws merrily. We've just had a most succulent of roasts finishing. It's practically melting off the spit. Good. Wine, very good. Lots of coin. Oh, I wouldn't presume to impose too high a price. Lots of coin. Rannoch insists, and I must admit I'm enjoying the way he's spoiling me lately. Arc wine, then. I have a few bottles of excellent quality straight from Lynx Terra. I'm told the very same is served at the Palace in Tigron to the Sorcerer King himself. The barkeep says with pride, and the wolf nods. Good. We have Sorcerer King wine. Aww. He's just being so good right now. He's being a good boy. Hang on, I'm gonna hide Ty. I'm gonna hide the baby. I'm gonna hide baby. Where is it? I know there's a thing here somewhere. No, not that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. I'll just leave that there for now. The male bows deeply once again and rushes off in good humor as if he'd just gotten some great news. I guess a prospect of draining a guest of coin would be counted as such. That seems a bit over the top, I mutter worriedly. Considering what I'm heading back into, when will be the next time I'll get to splurge out like this? And it might be our last meal together. I frown slightly, to which he quickly changes his tune. Might. Besides, you'd be saving me 3 talents if you'd come back with me, no? True, but you've already spent nearly the same amount. At least I'm bankrupting myself on someone who won't throw it back in my muzzle. He nods towards the dress, and although I chuckle, it does feel bad how Larissa treated such a gift. But I don't want to dwell on it. It's not my place to dictate how she's to act when persistently courted by a crude friend. Didn't take you for a wine drinker. Special occasion calls for a special marker. Speaking of special markers, I look around our table, enjoying how remarkable and romantic this setting truly is. A private alcove, candelabras, a delicious meal for just the two of us. Should I treat it as a date then? A date? I assume it's your way of saying courtship. He chuckles. I think we're slightly past that point, don't you agree? Yeah, we did skip a few steps. A few? We tore up an entire book on this subject, 2 in fact. 1 for each of our species. What does that do? Gotta get rid of the pet. Look at you. It seems idioms aren't exactly a foreign language to your kind. No, but your random gibberish is. He teases and we both laugh. In either case, I quite enjoy this. I glide my hands across the table. Dating is very integral to the human culture. Again, you mean courtship. I'd say it's pretty integral to any species, really. The wolf shrugs. Potato, you know what I mean. I thought you said you understood our little arrangement. He gives me a more serious look and a nod to dispel any of his worries. Of course, but that doesn't mean we can't observe some sort of form. Otherwise, what's the point? Are you sure about this? I was the one who proposed it to begin with. Let me get comfortable. Good enough. I feign ignorance and the wolf rolls his eyes. Very well then, a date it is. That's all I can ask for. There we go. I give him the tongue just as the barkeep returns with a different waitress at his side. This tigress gives us a wide, kind smile as she places our plates in front of us. They're stacked high with roasted vegetables, beautifully browned cuts of meat, and a generous portion of gravy. Oh my, this looks delicious. I rub my hands while licking my lips. And here's the arc wine. The male presents a very fancy-looking bottle with engraved white vine motifs. The glass is tinted dark green, but the liquid inside is clearly visible. Shall I pour? Rannoch nods with his mouth full as he already dug in. In fairness, we've been held up at the town hall for quite a while that I've worked up an appetite as well. We continue with our meal as a stocky male uncorks the bottle and pours the contents into beautifully etched crystal chalices. Here you go, my lord, and one for the young master. I'm not sure if it's the candlelight or the crystal, but the wine seems almost iridescent, shimmering with different hues of red depending on how you look at it. Do not hesitate to ask for anything. He takes a bow and Rannoch nods, dismissing him with a gesture of his paw. Once we're left alone, I lean toward him with amusement. Young master? We're the same age. Your kind tends to look young in our eyes. You're bald like unweaned pups. He muses while scooping a big portion of mash and gravy into his muzzle. I guess. I shrugged, taking hold of my glass and bopping it towards the wolf.
Self-voicing enabled. Saw Ellen. Slaint.
Slaint.
Self-voicing disabled.
Slaint. Rannoch responds and we clink the chalices merrily with the ring of a resonating song. As I take the sip of the tantalizing wine, at first it feels like any other vintage. Bit sweet, bit sour, but then it tingles all over, almost like champagne. But there are no bubbles, and the tingling doesn't limit to the tongue itself. It spreads down the throat to the belly and then radiates across the entire body through my veins. It almost feels like 1,000 gentle kisses being placed onto my... Slante. It almost feels like 1,000 gentle kisses being placed onto my naked skin, and I cannot help but gasp in mild embarrassment. Holy shit. Yeah. The wolf looks equally perplexed as I am. Tastes great, but... yeah. He nods and we both take cautious glances towards the bottle. Is this spiked or something? I have no fucking clue. I take a reluctant sniff of the chalice, and even the smell of wine feels intoxicating, almost as if it called out to me, begging to be drank. Yeah, this is spooky. Sorry. I wave towards the hall where the barkeep scrutinizes his staff. He quickly notices me and rushes to our side. Yes, everything's alright? Perfect, it's just... I pause, looking to Rannoch with worry, to which the wolf gives me an encouraging nod. I don't want to sound rude, but what's in this wine? Is it off? I'm terribly sorry. Mel concludes apologetically, but I shake my head. No, actually, we wouldn't know. Would you care to try it? I offer him my glass, and the tiger takes it without a hint of hesitation. Most certainly. I'd be honored to. We both watch intently as he takes a deep sip, but to our surprise, there's no reaction. Tastes delectable. One of the best vintages I've ever had. Oh, I'm not disputing that. I think we're both in agreement it's delicious, but... Again, I look back to the wolf, and this time Rannoch only shrugs in defeat. But, don't you feel, tingly odd? I slowly realize how dumb this really sounds, but to my surprise, the barkeep has a light bulb moment and simply laughs. Oh, I understand. Master's never had arc wine before. No, I can't say we have. It is an enchanted wine, he states, flicking his fingers at one of the passing waitresses. Enchanted? Yes, enchanted. He reiterates, passing the glass to a girl who responded to his summons. Take it and bring back a clean one. We won't have our guests drink after me. He commands, not breaking eye contact with our table, and the tigress nods, while he continues answering my question. The land of Lynx Terra is saturated with raw arcane. It causes their fruit to contain quite a lot of it. The lynx has also refined the process of making the magic much more potent during fermentation. Yeah? I look to him with utter confusion and fascination, unable to comprehend what he's actually saying. But what does it do? Not much, really. The tiger shrugs anticlimactically. Just a flavor enhancer, I suppose. The tingling sensation is just a release of arcane into your body, like a diluted mana potion. A mana potion? I gasp. Have we slipped into a role-playing game? Yes! Wait, no, the last time I had Sprite from McDonald's was kind of flat. And just awful. Still good, it was still McDonald's Sprite, but it wasn't spicy. Well, it would be lethal for us ordinary folk to ingest a mana potion, but the wine has similar properties. It increases focus, intelligence, and regeneration. Some supposedly can perform small conjurer's tricks as well, but I've yet to see that. He laughs it off casually while I struggle to contain amazement in my expression. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm sorry if we sound ignorant. This might be wasted on us. I nod towards the bottle, but the tiger shakes his head. No experience is a bad experience, I say. Oh, bit of an advice. Depending on your exposure, it can cause a faint glow in the eyes. That's nothing to worry about. Usually wears off after a few hours. And here's your new glass. He adds with satisfaction, placing it in front of me once the waitress returns with his query. Many thanks. I smile as the barkeep leaves us to our own devices. Well, that was weird. Did you follow any of that? Halfway. Sounds like spiked wine to me. Rannoch shrugs indifferently while taking hold of my cup. He fills it up and encourages me to drink with another toast. We clink the glasses and take another sip, shivering as the tingling in our veins resumes. It is quite tasty, though. It is a good thought. And very expensive, so we better make the best of it, glowing eyes and all. He laughs and we continue our meal. I must admit, it's nice to unwind like this. The scene is very much reminiscent of the feasting grounds, however, it's also more private. I hadn't realized how much I needed to have a dinner like this with Rannoch, just the two of us without a constant vigil of others. And it seems the wolf very much enjoys this as well. So much so that every now and then he rubs my leg with his hind paws, sneaking discreet touches between each bite. Eventually I muster the courage and simply place my hand on top of his, looking lovingly into his eyes. At first he's surprised, but realizing that no one pays us any mind, he grasps it and now we're effectively holding hands. The music plays on for a while and we just enjoy our company, chatting and joking while also taking in the setting. The stranded bard proved to be all I was promised and more. It's lively, cheery, and clearly the epicenter of this bustling community. There's a sense of camaraderie in the air that crosses the cultural and racial divides. I'm falling in love with this place as much as I fell in love with that wolf. The only thing missing is the songs, but that's when my attention drifts to the stage where a handsome-looking lion takes a seat, tuning his flute. Ask and you shall receive. I chuckle at the timing. Although conversations continue, they're now more hushed in clear anticipation. Is this the surprise that you were talking about? Are we gonna have a song? Eventually, the lion caresses the strings and a soothing yet somewhat solemn tune fills the room. It's very much akin to a lullaby and it casts a spell on everyone, giving his melodic voice an uncontested dominion over the entire tavern. Gather round the twinkling fire of this here hearth. Let me tell you a grand tale of two broken hearts. Once there was a mighty king and he had a son, both in love with an outsider, thus our tale begun. She was an outstanding woman everyone adored, from a lowly country peasant to the highest lord. To her motives many claim that she was pure of heart, but deception, as they say, is the oldest form of art. Although many enjoy the song, some begin to frown or even return to their prior arrangements with subdued murmurs and chatter slowly ringing in the back. The prince came pleading and then begging, swallowing his pride. He would give her all she asked for if she were his bride. In spite of his valiant efforts, she seemed not too keen. Why settle as a lowly princess when one can be a queen? The king was old, wise, and gentle. He caught both her eyes. Father-son rift now forms until one of them dies. The princess challenged our good king to an honor-bound duel, unbeknownst that love has returned his father's soft paw cruel. The king had his son's red wine poisoned just before the fight. The prince was strong, and it took much longer for the poison to bite. The youth will always trump old age. The king now lies slain, but his venom does its trick, and the prince has won in vain. What sort of a song is this? Is this historical? I mean, he sings it beautifully, but he's clearly not reading the room. All the learned men and the courtiers look for someone to blame. The queen finds herself in a dark cell. There she would know pain. Accused of witchcraft, there was no doubt evil witch would hang. Soon after, her noose snapped. The war cries would be sung. Empty thrones bewitch much harder than the wickedest of spells. Now the country's whole on fire, akin to burning hells. You might ask, what madness drove them to this folly and treason? Answer here is plain and simple. Love is the death of all reason. Love is the death of all reason. As much as I don't want to, I echo the confusion and awkwardness of the gathered. This place used to be like a fairground, but now it's more akin to a graveyard. Not to mention, I don't think I vibe with the message either. Of course, there are a few who enjoyed his performance, subdued applause lost in the echo of this vast hall, but the reaction of the majority is pretty similar to when someone farts in an elevator. Achievement unlocked. Didn't read the room. I can almost feel the secondhand embarrassment. That's when a slow clap can be heard from the little niche next to a stage. A flamboyant-looking cat holding a lyre underneath his arm approaches and takes a shallow dip. Beautifully sang, my friend, no doubt about that, he says in a somewhat funny accent. But I thought this was an inn, not a mausoleum. Why bring down the mood of our generous patrons who came here to forget the sorrows of their dreary lives? Oh my god! He looks a lot like him. The cat asks with a taunting tone and quite a few cheer, raising up their mugs in agreement. Where I come from, the bard's duty is to both entertain and educate. Then I suggest you return to where you came from, my friend. Why inflict your foreign sensitivities on these kind folks? He is. Another bout of applause fills the main hall, and I have to agree with the cat. Despite his uncouth go back where you came from jab. I mean, the lion almost asks for it. There's nothing wrong with lessons in history. Aye, but it doesn't mean they have to be so morose. The cat steps onto the stage and finally grasps his lyre appropriately. But if it's a lesson in history you want, then I shall gladly oblige. I'm sure this is a tune every kid in Avalon knows by heart. He states confidently, and the moment he strikes the first few chords, a great many patrons raise their mugs and cheer in laughter, recognizing the song that's about to commence. Even the innkeep chuckles merrily, while I find myself bopping slightly to the much livelier rhythm of this new song. The cat starts to hop and stomp across the stage, his voice loud and joyful.
Beer, 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 tiddly beer, beer, beer. A long time ago, way back in history, when all there was to drink was nothing but cups of tea, along came a kin by the name of Charlie Mops, and he invented a wonderful drink and he made it out of hops. He must have been an emperor, a sultan, or a king, and to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he's filled us up with cheer. Life bless Charlie Mops, the king who invented beer, 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 truly beer, beer, beer. The stranded bard, the journeys, and the royal inn as well. One thing you can be sure of, it's Charlie's beer they sell. So all ye lads and lasses, at 11 o'clock you stop. For 5 short seconds, remember Charlie Mops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey! He must have been an emperor, a sultan, or a king, and to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he's filled us up with cheer. Life bless Charlie Mops, the king who invented beer, 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 tiddly beer, beer, beer. A bushel of hops, a barrel of malt, you stir it around with a stick. That sort of lubrication to make your engine tick. 40 pints of wallop a day will keep away the quacks. It's only 8 pence a pot and 1 per 6 in tax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey! He must have been an emperor, a sultan, or a king, and to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he's filled us up with cheer. Life bless Charlie Mops, the king who invented beer, 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 tiddly beer, beer, beer. All the kin love their trinkets, now that we know is true. But try to take their beer, and they will run you through. In Avalon Hole, they drink to Charlie day and night. And to such one toast, my friends, I now heartily invite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey! He must have been an emperor, a sultan, or a king, and to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he's filled us up with cheer. Life bless Charlie Mops, the king who invented beer, 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 tiddly beer, 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 tiddly beer, beer, beer. A life bless Charlie Mops.
Hooray. That was glorious. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I feel, actually, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was fucking wonderful. Everyone stomps and applauds, clinking their mugs in merriment. I can't deny that the cat knows what he's doing. He brought everyone to their feet. Not even halfway through the first line, much of the tavern joined in and drowned his sweet voice in a thunderous chorus. Damn! I exhale in amusement and rise up to my feet, clapping along with the rest of the gather. The bard takes a gracious bow, humbly sweeping his hat in front of the crowd, and the coins begin to rain. Everyone is taken in by his beautiful voice, wit and charm, and I look to Rannoch, who's somewhat uninterested. That was amazing! He's rather good, don't you think? Had a hard time understanding what either of them were singing. Oh, cheer up. I poke him teasingly, and he lightens up surprisingly fast. I don't suppose you'd have a coin to spare. Doesn't have to be much. The wolf flicks to me a copper penny, and I grasp it, deciding to bring it to the cat personally. Aww. I approach him as the bard collects his pay from the floor and stashes it into his hat. I'm sorry if it's not much, I just wanted to give you my appreciation, really. You sang beautifully. I mutter as he pushes the hat in my direction without breaking the eye contact with the coins littering the floor. I shrug and decide to drop mine in. As it clinks with the others, he pulls back the hat and continues collecting his spoils. Every little bit counts, and it's not like I've invented the song. It's been around for much longer than anyone can remember. I don't think it matters. What matters is showmanship, and you lifted up everyone from their seats. Ha! Spoken like a true feeler. He cuts off. As he finally comes to face me, and his expression turns to confusion. You speak Felinian, good sir? Pardon me? My word, with Ghentberry accent as well. Uncanny. Oh shit, here we go again. How long did you live there? Lived where? Ghentberry. I'd recognize a fellow Gentian anywhere. You have me mistaken, sir. I've never been in those parts. I mumble awkwardly. He's the first otherkin in this damned town that this happened with. I suppose it's because he's foreign. Huh, how odd. So whereabouts did you live in Felinius? Nowhere. I mean, the country as a whole. I've never stepped foot inside your borders. Remarkable. You're an interesting person, good sir. I wonder if you'll do me the honor of sharing a drink with me. Shit. I look back to my table where Rannoch sits awaiting me to return. I see you're engaged with one of those elusive wolven folk. The cat croons, noticing where my gaze has ventured. Which makes you even more intriguing in all honesty. Please, do me this favor as a token of your appreciation. He states pleadingly, picking up one of the coins from his hat. I shall buy us all around, so we could all drink to Charlie Mops, eh? What say you? To Charlie Mops, then. I concede through an amused mop and bop my head towards our table. The cat quickly folds his hat like a purse and follows behind. What is he doing here? The wolf mumbles uncomfortably, seeing the cat take a seat beside him. Be nice, Rannoch. He just wanted to join us at the table for a single drink. You really are like fire to the moths. The wolf grumbles, but I know he's not meaning it in a bad way. Ye gods, you're fluent in Wolven too? This evening keeps getting better and better. He looks around and waves towards one of the waitresses. Love, could I borrow you for a moment? The plump tigress walks over to us and nods her head. Sure thing. What can I do you for? I'll have a round of your best ale. You do drink ale, right? Yes. I nod to him, but then face the waitress. Although, if it's not too much trouble, my wolven companion likes to drink dark and robust brews. Ah, so you'd like a stout then. There's not much price difference. I'll charge you the same, cutie. Gotta keep that wonderful throat of yours well lubricated. The tigress winks to the bard and rushes off, while the cat gives me a wide smile. So you've mastered Tigery as well. My, you must have one heck of a story to tell. Not really. In fact, my whole life story lasts barely over 2 weeks. Most of it was getting stabbed, house chores, and making sausage. The plot thickens, and you claim not to be interesting. Wait, this isn't Tigery. You speak with him in the cat tongue? Rannoch shakes his head in confusion and looks to me rather startled. Fuck. Didn't realize this was a multilingual three-way. Oh gosh. Is there a problem? No, everything's fine. I smile awkwardly, not sure what's actually going on. Oh my god, right? Ooh, what's this? The cat's nose twitches ever so slightly, and it sees pupils shrink to mere lines as he centers on the elaborate bottle. My, something smells quite alluring. Oh, it's Arc wine. Would you like to try it? I propose to which the two black lines expand and shift to me. Really? That's such a royal treat. He twinkles his fingers. A proper form would dictate I refuse, but darn it all, I can't deny I've always wanted to try it. That's fine. Shall I have them fetch a cup for you? Way ahead of you, lad. The cat pulls out a flask from underneath his coat and removes the top, doubling as a metal shot glass. Right. He passes it to me and I simply pour him the glimmering Arc wine. He licks his lips as he brings the cup towards his muzzle, his whiskers bending forward ever so slightly and his eyes shine with wonder. I smile as the cat takes a reverent sip, followed by a thirstier gulp. By the light, what a delicacy! He shivers all over, drawing a reluctant laugh from me. Now that's a royal treat. Would you like some more? I offer as the cap of his flask is rather small. Again, I should refuse, but I dare not to. That's alright. I chuckle, pouring him another round. Just a bit of a warning, apparently it can cause a faint glow in the eyes. You do realize you're talking to a cat. He smirks seductively, pulling the brim of his hat down and causing his eyes to glimmer like 2 golden coins. Wow, that's amazing. I gasp, never seen such a thing before. Unless you count real cats. real, even thinking that sounds stupid, as I'm staring down the eyes of an actual anthropomorphic feline. Mmm, delicious. He sighs in contentment, downing his share and looking at us with a wide smile. I knew you were people of import. Regular folk do not get a private alcove at the Serena Bar, nor do they feast on such exquisite vintage. I looked to Rannoch with bolstered gratitude, as indeed, this is an amazing treat he arranged for me. And all that in the middle of the night right after our little spat. Can he? I don't deserve this, Wolf. Don't take it the wrong way. I quite enjoy watching you befriend everyone we meet, but I feel rather left out. He mutters awkwardly as I slap my forehead in embarrassment. Keeping up with those linguistic hijinks is getting really frustrating. Something's the matter? The cat darts his gazes between us. My companion only speaks Tigerese. That's not a problem. Not at all. I'm happy to switch. It'll make me look less snobbish anyway. He replies without hesitation, and I smile in gratitude. Thank you. You're awfully kind. I think we should stick to Tigerese from now on. You say that, but you keep speaking in Felinian. His expression slightly shifts, and I feel a cold sweat dot my body. So, I am, huh? I laugh nervously. How about now? Am I still speaking Felinian? Is this some sort of joke I'm too slow to get? Oh my god, he can't! Fuck, this is awkward. I don't really know what to do. Well, what's going on? Rannoch notices my anxiety, most likely through my slightly increased heart rate. I don't control the language. What? I keep talking to him in Felinian. We tried switching to Tigerese, but to no effect. I say in as calm a manner as I can, but despite not understanding our exchange, it's clear the cat sees something's amiss. Shit. He's a bard. If he finds out there's something strange about you, he'll never leave us alone. What now? Everything's alright? I thought we would speak in Tigerese. The cat finally interrupts, and I feel put on a spot. Not only I have no idea what the hell is going on and how my multilingual ability works, but I feel very much rude speaking in another language in front of either of them. Seeing that I'm pretty much stumped, Rannoch places a paw on my hand and says sternly, "Get rid of him." Wow, he just ordered a round of beer for us. Wolf pulls out a silver coin and flips it to me. Give him that and tell him to fuck off. That's a bit rude. I mumble, not very keen on the plan, but the wolf sneers in annoyance. How is that rude? He guzzled expensive wine and now he's getting a whole silver claw for simply sitting down with us. I grimace slightly, knowing full well there's not much else I can do. Mustering the most polite and apologetic smile I can, I address the cat. My companion says he's awfully sorry, but we had a long journey and an urgent business to attend to. He's offering this as an apology, as we'll have to tend to our affairs. Well, I'm sorry to intrude. The bard responds abruptly, giving Rannoch a less favorable glance. Yeah. Perhaps he assumed the wolf's being a racist, but whatever his reasoning might be, the cat still takes the point. Please thank your master for his generosity. He's not... I want to correct his wrong assumption, but he interrupts me. I'll be staying here for a few days. A cat of my travels has a keen sense of observation. I always know when I meet people of import, and you, my friend, are such. He states plainly, looking at me with a determined expression. It would mean a great deal to me if you'd consider sitting down to chat another time. I am of no importance, I assure you. Maybe. The cat shrugs. And maybe my senses are right, and I'll be singing about you in years to come. That would be the day. I chuckle. I believe I pegged you right. You have caught the eye of the Jarl as well. Jarl? He smirks and nods towards the upper part of the inn, but I just brush it away. In any case, I shall leave you be. He bows gracefully and nods towards Rannoch. Again, thank your master for his generosity. I decide to ignore this last remark and just let the cat leave in peace. What was that about? Wolf asks, and I exhale in frustration. He's rather full of himself. Sounds like someone I know. He winks at me teasingly. I thought you liked him. I did, but then he reminded me way too much of Tano. He's a bard, being nosy is his profession. And talking in riddles. I scoff, finally looking in the direction he previously nodded towards. What in the world? I gasp out, noticing an entire group of humans sitting on a balcony overlooking the main hall. They're seated comfortably at a large table, getting honorary treatment from the staff. They look important. Immediately, one of them, a youth somewhat my age, zooms in on me with an equally surprised expression. What? Rannoch blinks, following my gaze to the upper story. Huh. When it rains. He smirks, but I shake my head. Not funny. Why are you so troubled? Do you recognize any of them? He asks between each mouthful from his plate. No, but somehow seeing other humans feels weird. Thought I'd never see any of my kind again. Never say never. Wolf flashes his brows and lifts his chalice in a gentle prompt. I grab mine and we clink them, but before taking a sip, I notice the youth still drilling their gaze into me. He grabs his own goblet and shyly raises it in a long-distance toast. I bought my glass politely and smile, looking back to Rannoch. This feels really weird. I thought you would be relieved. Perhaps we should make an inquiry? They might know something. Like what? Something about your origin. I highly doubt that. I roll my eyes. There's no harm in asking. The wolf picks up a tablecloth and wipes his muzzle before getting up. Where are you going? To see if we could talk. We shouldn't bother them. I protest, grabbing the wolf's wrist. That seems like a prime seating. They're important. So are we. We just spoke with a tiger who owns this place. He runs it at best. I correct him, still very much tugging at his wrist. Something tells me getting involved with that party upstairs is a bad idea. Or perhaps some part of me worries that there's an actual possibility those humans might recognize me or want to take me in. I fear Rannoch would be inclined to leave me in their care in such a scenario. Please, just leave it be. I mutter pleadingly, but his gaze is still locked with the balcony. Thankfully, the waitress from before arrives with our drink order. I sigh in relief, poking the wolf and nodding towards the ale. Anything else I can help you with? Yes, me meet with human on the roof. I'm sorry? The female blinks in confusion, darting her gaze towards where Rannoch's pointing. Oh, I'm afraid that's not possible, my lord. Why? If on roof, there is stair. There are dignitaries from the Broken Isles to the Sorcerer King himself. She mutters apologetically. They're on a carefully guided tour. We just speak to humans, not much time. That area is off limits. I'll strictly instruct it to not let them be disturbed. Please forgive me, my lord, but I cannot help you. The female bows deeply, and I pull on Rannoch's arm, finally forcing him to sit down. Seriously, it's not worth it. I don't feel like talking to a bunch of strangers. But they might not be strangers. The wolf insists, to which I click my tongue in annoyance. They very much are to me. And if I was someone they lost, they would have already come down to meet us. What do you mean? That kid up there, he's been making eye contact with me for a while now. I nod towards the balcony. Nothing too personal, just the same curiosity they sparked in me. Had he recognized me as one of their own, they'd fetch for me by now. I guess. The wolf sighs in resignation. Can we just enjoy our date without you looking for any chance to dump me? I snicker teasingly, and the wolf matches my taunting expression. Fine. He concedes and picks up his mug. But in turn, you have to stop attracting all the strays. He snorts. They keep coming at you like bees to the honey. What can I say? I'm just sweet and irresistible. I wink at him, drawing a happy tail wag, and we clink our mugs. We spend another hour or two finishing our meals in Arkwine, simply enjoying each other's company. The cat even performs another song, an upbeat tune about a kin who made booze his lover. It's cheery and serves as a cautionary tale for relying on a substance to solve all the problems. He's undoubtedly proving his calling here, much to the lion's dismay. I make a few sporadical glance exchange and feigned toasts with the youth on the balcony. He seems to feel left out in all the spirited conversation at his table, so I decide to give him some long-distance company. Without words, we seem to be able to exchange our admiration towards the Felinian, while simultaneously trading frowns when the lion decides to attempt another historical ballad. Some people don't know when to quit. At one point, the youth even pokes a burly, handsome-looking man sitting on his right, pointing in my direction. I receive a rather disinterested nod of acknowledgement, and that is that. Another confirmation that we're not connected in any sort of way. I return to Rannoch and exchange our impressions of Strandbard thus far. Although still very proud to be a Turnen wolf, he struggles and fails to contain some amazement by what we have found here. No matter what anyone would want to say, Strandbard is simply mind-blowing, and it is clear that Rannoch would want to bring some of it back home. I have no doubt that if there is to be a new chief, no wolf would be better suited for the job than him. Time flies, and when Rannoch finally alerts me that we have to fetch my sandals and retrieve the paperwork, I almost frown. Damn, it feels like we just got here. I hastily empty the last gulp of arc wine and wipe my face as Rannoch gathers our things. There's something undeniably satisfying about going on a shopping expedition with your boyfriend, having him carry said shoppings, and taking you out to fine dining. Oh no, am I turning into a mean girl? I chuckle internally as Wolf pays for our table and leads me toward the exit. Oh, I could stay here forever, I groan, hearing as the sound of music and laughter slowly fades behind me. You don't say. Rannoch muses teasingly and I snap out of it. Oh, don't you start that again! We're gonna leave off here tonight. Actually, is there much more left in the stream? I want to make sure that... Yeah, I haven't seen Mean Girls. I haven't. Okay. This was amazing. Thank you so much. I embraced the wolf with little to no restraint. At first, he's surprised and a little bit embarrassed, but noticing that none of the passerbys even raises a brow at us, he relaxes and wraps his arms around me. I'm glad you've enjoyed yourself, Moondrop. This was the best date I've ever been on, even if it might be the only one. I'm the best alpha, and you're the best ward. He winks teasingly. We deserve nothing less. Cheeky. I chuckle, snuggling into his chest. Well, it's almost the 11th hour. We have a decision to make. Oh? I mutter worriedly. Should we spend another night here and depart in the morning, or snag a small bottle of wine for the farmer and depart immediately, spending the night at his? Wait, so you're actually taking me back? I stop in my tracks and pulling away, looking to him with a slight disbelief. Well, I can't devise a way to leave you here without me having to worry about your safety. And since you've proven instrumental in securing those trade rights, I doubt Father could muster many arguments against you. What about Vither? I cringe slightly, knowing he's the only obstacle we have left. Vither has a lot of answering to do, both on account of his mission here and Cora's treatment. He makes displays of utter devotion to her, yet leaves the girl wholly deprived of any financial stability. He's the last person I need to take pointers from. Rannoch scoffs, crossing his arms in annoyance. I can't help but smile at the slight shift, but still place my hand on his arm. No point getting all up in his business, but I'm glad to see you're developing a backbone. In any case, as much as I love this town, I think we shouldn't tarry. Not only because this mission is urgent, but I also don't want to give you any time to get cold on your feet. See, I would want to leave because then we might never get to see Enel again. And if I never see Enel again, then what's the point of living? I tease, poking him under the ribs, and the wolf snorts, leading us back towards Sloane's workshop. Welcome back, Mr. Future Chief. Right? I assume the diplomatic mission was a failure? You assume wrong. Rannoch smiles with satisfaction. If Enel dies during another update or something, if Enel dies during the story, I will probably be in prison. Because something awful. My, aren't you full of surprises? I can't take the full credit, though none in fact. It was all thanks to him. He bobs his head towards me and she smiles in amusement. Yeah, that makes more sense. Having a token human urchin when dealing with tigers does give you pity points. It wasn't just pity. Kalen here is quite a sharp tool. Silver-tongued, the magistrate called him. Would you look at that? She gives me a joyful look, but quickly turns around and walks deeper into her workshop. She returns momentarily with our order and bids me to join her inside. Let me show you how it's done. The female mutters and points to the stool. I sit down and take off my makeshift boots, tossing them to the side. Should I dispose of those for you? Yes, please. I nod eagerly, very keen to be getting some actual footwear. The sandals fit perfectly like snug slippers, and Sloane proceeds to lace the leather straps around my calves. As she does so, I keep sneaking glances towards the cobalt vest on display. It would look good on you. She mutters, noticing my window shopping. We'll take it. Rannoch quips, drawing a shocked expression from my face. You don't even know how much it is. It doesn't matter. Rannoch shrugs and Sloane laughs. If that's the case, I want 2 talents. Fine by me. I know you wouldn't screw over a fellow wolf. Fellow wolf, you say? She snickers, stopping her task and looking at him challengingly. You're lucky I like you both, wolves. Like you both. Wolves, I charge double. A self-hating kin. I don't know how to feel about it. On one hand, I don't like being spoiled, but on the other hand, this is Rannoch that we're talking about. Oh my god. Rannoch raises his brow teasingly, to which she only snorts. A self-serving one for sure. Ah, what the heck. 1.5 talent. Only because you say Ambassador liked the wee fella. I nearly blush at the exchange and look down, watching her finish fastening my sandals. You secure them like so. She demonstrates the bow just beneath the back of my knee. The lace graciously curves around my calves, and I must say, I feel pretty chic. I jump off the stool and pivot from one leg to another, much to Rannoch's approval. I don't get it, but it looks good. The wolf snorts, drawing an amused chuckle from the female. I'm the best for a reason. He gives her a handful of coins that clink in her paw while taking down the vest and presenting it to me. Thank you. I glide my hand across the glistening skin. It's beautiful. Now you have several outfits to change into. If you'd like, you could just use my back room. Sloane points, but I shake my head. Nah, we're still heading into the magistrate's palace. The tunic seems more appropriate. I'll change at the farmer's place. I say to Rannoch, and the wolf nods. Very well. Thank you again for all the work. No problem. Don't forget me, Mr. Future Chief Successful Diplomatic Mission, when you'll finally rule. Would love to see some change if you manage to enact it. She teases, and Rannoch only shakes his head. You'll be the one I bring home first. I'll count on it. Well then, let's get our papers and be on our merry way. I nod and happily skip through the street. Having actual shoes and hearing them softly tap against the cobblestone gives me immense satisfaction. And against all my fears, I'll soon be back home. Back at the cabin in the woods. To be continued. Woo! I cannot wait for the next update of this game. I swear to God, it is amazing. I think it only gets updated like every few months. Is that right? Does it only get updated every few months? Oh, let me Google it. Ah, okay. Okay. Well, we'll be returning to, Remember the Flowers tomorrow. We'll be returning to that tomorrow, so, see you then. Stay safe, have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay, I'll try to listen to that.